Hello, my name is Joe Skidmore, and today I'll be speaking to you about Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Do something. If it works, do more of it. If it doesn't, do something else. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, also known as FDR, was the 32nd President of the United States. He fought the U.S. out of the Great Depression. He signed the New Deal, which created 42 new agencies. He led the U.S. during World War II while diagnosed with polio. He served 4 terms as president, and during that he accomplished the Social Security, U.S. minimum wage, child labor laws, insurance for bank deposits, and the first and second New Deals. In his political career, he was influenced by his 5th cousin, the 26th President Theodore Roosevelt. In his first and second terms, he focused on the New Deals. In his 3rd and 4th terms, he focused on foreign policy and World War II. According to History.com, posted on October 29, 2009, in his early life he was born on January 30th, 1882 in Hyde Park, New York. He traveled to Europe each year from the ages of 7 to 15, and he went to Harvard where he was an average student. He entered Columbia Law School after college, and he dropped out after passing the New York bar in 1907. In 1905, he married his wife, Eleanor Roosevelt. According to ThoughtCo.com, posted on July 10, 2017, in 1910 he ran for the New York Senate as a Democrat, and through hard campaigning he won the seat in a Democratic landslide. He was re-elected in 1912, became the Assistant Secretary of the Navy from 1913 to 1920, and he specialized in business operations, and he founded the U.S. Naval Reserve. In 1920, he accepted a nomination as Vice President for James Cox, where they were defeated by Warren Harding, but the experience gave FDR a national exposure. In 1921, he was diagnosed with polio, and in 1924 and 1928, he nominated Al Smith for president, which gave him more national exposure. From 1929 to 1933, he was the governor of New York. He believed in progressive government, where he instituted many new social programs. He became the first government official to open the Olympic Games in 1932. In 1933, he was elected president. In his first 100 days, he ended prohibition, which made it legal to purchase alcohol. He created the Tennessee Valley Act, which enabled government to build dams to control flooding, and the National Recovery Administration, which regulated wages and prices. In 1933, the New Deal created 42 new agencies, including the Social Security Act, which was a safety net for all Americans, unemployment and disability insurance, and old age pension, and the FDA. The second New Deal in 1935 created Workers' Progress Administration, hiring over 3 million people in the first year. The Wagner Act established legal rights of most workers to join labor unions. In 1936, he was re-elected for a second term in a landslide win, and he focused on the foreign policies. The Good Neighbor policy reevaluated the U.S. policy towards Latin America, and the Selective Service Act of 1940 increased the size of the Army from 189,000 to 1.4 million. In 1940, he was re-elected to a 3rd term, where citizens feared of entering the war. In August of 1941, he pledged to destroy the Nazi Germany with Winston Churchill. On December 7th, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, where more than 2,400 Americans died. The following day, the U.S. declared war on Japan, and on December 11th, Germany and Italy declared war on the U.S. The U.S. allied with Great Britain, Russia, and China. In 1944, he proposed a GI Bill, which was a post-secondary education, medical care, unemployment insurance, job counseling, and low-cost loans for homes for returning soldiers. In his 4th term, he was re-elected in 1944, and this is when his health started to decline due to the stress of the war. In spring of 1945, he died from a cerebral hemorrhage in Warm Springs, Georgia. According to TheBalance.com, posted on January 10, 2019, he was loved by Americans due to his actions in the Great Depression and defending democracy during World War II. He was also hated due to unconstitutionally expanding federal government powers and transforming the nation to a welfare state. The jobless rate before becoming president in 1933 was 24.9%, and the jobless rate after 1945, just before his death, was 1.9%. The most notable quote by FDR came during his inaugural speech in 1933. "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." Roosevelt stands as one of the few truly great presidents in U.S. history. Thank you for your time, and I hope you learn more about a 32nd president.